Good evening. The following is a live broadcast for the City of Kingsport Board of Mayor and Alderman. Board meetings are regularly scheduled on the first and third Tuesdays of each month at 7 p.m. In advance of the BMA meeting, a copy of the agenda is available for inspection at the Kingsport Public Library, City Hall, or online at kingsporttn.gov.
Kingsport Board of Mayor and Alderman business meeting. I remind our citizens, this is the meeting where we vote. The first order of business will be, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag, led by Miss Jessica McMurray from our planning department, followed by the invocation, led by Pastor Stephen Collins from the Kingsport Community Church. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Heavenly Father, we just pause for a moment tonight to say thank you. Thank you for who you are. Thank you for Kingsport. Thank you for the good people of this city. And Father, tonight I just want to lift up our mayor and aldermen to you, Lord. They are living and working and serving in a time that none of us could have imagined just a few years ago. And I know that there are probably days, maybe a lot of days, where they feel inadequate to the tasks before them. But Father, tonight I pray that you would fill them with encouragement. Your word says that you have placed rulers and authorities over us for a reason and a purpose. And I pray tonight that they would remember, Father, that you have placed them here in this city, on this council, for such a time as this. So tonight, Lord, I want to lift up Patrick, Colette, Betsy, Daryl, Paul, Tommy, and James before you, God. Fill them tonight and remind them so much that you love them and have called them here for a purpose. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Pastor. Appreciate those words. Please be seated. Madam Recorder, please call the roll.
Mayor Shaw.
Here.
Vice Mayor George.
Here.
Alderman Cooper.
Here.
Alderman Duncan.
Here.
Alderman Montgomery.
Here.
Alderman Alterman.
Present.
Alderman Phillips.
Thank you. By my reckoning, all 7 elected members are present, and we're with our city manager, Mr. Chris McCart, and I'll ask him to get us started.
All right, we have no recognitions or presentations on the agenda tonight, so we'll move into the agenda. The first item you have is appointments to the Neighborhood Advisory Commission. It's recommended to appoint James Johnson Jr., Christy Gott, Tiffany Hickman, Teresa Ann Fanning, and Katie Priester. Those are recommendations being made to the Neighborhood Advisory Commission, and we'd ask that you approve these appointments, please.
Thank you. The appointments are provided in your notes as well as their biographies. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Montgomery. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is the approval of minutes from the work session on January 31st, 2022, and the business meeting on February 1st, 2022. We'd ask that you approve these minutes as submitted, please.
Thank you. As stated, we have 2 sets of minutes to approve. Do I hear a motion to do so?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Alderman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Duncan. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Both minutes pass 7-0. I see we have no public hearings, Mr. City Manager. At this time, if citizens would like to come forward to the podium and speak to the board, they're invited to please speak only on agenda items. The written agenda is provided right near the door as you come down the hallway. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. You're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. A total of 30 minutes is allocated for public comment during this part of the agenda. And again, it only refers to items on the agenda. There is a portion later on in our proceedings where a citizen can come forward to the board and speak on an item of general civic interest. Are there any citizens wish to come forward? If not, I declare this part of the meeting over, and Mr. City Manager, please proceed.
Next item is consideration of an ordinance to amend Chapter 42, Article 3 of the Code of Ordinances as it relates to the International Fire Code Appendix D specifications for fire apparatus access roads. This item, as I discussed last night, comes to you all as a result of really a coordinated effort between feedback from the development community as well as feedback from our Kingsport City Schools and the fire department and our internal development team. What we've looked at is a recommendation to improve the overall size of a cul-de-sac for new construction. This will allow us to be able to easily turn a school bus as well as a fire truck within this. It also aids the developer in that on a dead-end street without secondary access, they can now build up to 50 homes. And so pleased to bring this to you and would ask that you all approve this ordinance making this change.
Thank you. Let me ask Mr. Williams, so the Planning Commission had no problems? There were no citizens that came forward? Okay, thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances, City of Kingsport, Tennessee, Chapter 42, Article 3, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second? Second by Alderman Phillips. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Let me pause, Mr. City Manager. I always assume that there's folks watching us here on TV for the first time. If it looks like we're going kind of fast, it's because we've already heard these items at least twice before. The first time, each individual member, one at a time, sits down with the city manager and goes over the items on the agenda. Then we have a work session in which we all meet. They're public meetings, of course. All our meetings as a body are in public. And we're not allowed to vote at a work session, but we do discuss the items in more detail, make sure everybody understands and so forth. So that's why we're able to proceed pretty quickly when we get to the final voting business meeting. So, Mr. City Manager, please proceed.
All right, your next item is consideration of a resolution and budget ordinance awarding a contract for the Cat's Garage Maintenance Facility Project. I know everybody always wants me to scroll down to the picture and then start talking, so that's what I will do. This is the architectural rendering of the new building. It will actually not look anything like this, but no, I'm kidding. This is what we will be building next to the Operations Center there on Main Street. As I stated last night, really a long time in the making. I think we said 7 or 8 years that we've been talking about this. The goal behind this was to kind of remove ourselves from the academic village, be able to turn that space back over for higher ed use. With the completion of this, we'll be able to move forward with that. Very pleased that we got a bid in spite of the construction climate that we're in with labor issues, supply chain issues. We will have to add some dollars to this. We'll discuss that in a later item, but excited to move this forward. Hopefully within about a year, we can see this completed. However, if we run into issues with supply chain, that could potentially extend the project. But as I stated last night, I'll say it again, Chris Campbell, who's here, he's our transit manager, has done an outstanding job of working with the state, working with the feds through the Federal Transit Administration on this to be able to move this along. When all's said and done, total project cost will be over $6 million, but only $1.1 million of that is actually coming from the city of Kingsport. So we're able to utilize the grants that we have in order to move that forward.
So the bulk of the funding's from the state government or the federal government?
From the state, from the Federal Transit Administration, that's correct.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution awarding the bid for the Kingsport Area Transit Service Garage Maintenance Facility to Path Construction Northeast, Inc., and authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement for the same and all documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the agreement.
And we're just voting on the resolution first, isn't that correct? Mr. Attorney?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Alderman. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. Attorney, please publish the ordinance.
An ordinance to amend the general fund and the general project fund budgets for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the ordinance associated with this action?
So move.
Moved by Alderman Montgomery. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Phillips. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is consideration of a budget adjustment ordinance for the general fund for fiscal year '22. What we are asking is that you all allow us to increase the total number of full-time employees that is listed within the budget by 1. This will allow us to add a full-time billing fiscal assistant position within our finance department with the primary responsibility of working in utilities billing. As I stated last night, this has been an effort by the finance department for some time as we begin to see retirements taking place and to make sure that we have the right people in the right places in order to have the good knowledge sharing, also to be able to address other areas that are in need. And this is obviously an area that we need to provide some assistance now as we've kind of moved some other people around to provide that assistance. But long-term goal here is to make sure that we have a solid succession plan moving forward for a group that has been very loyal to us for many years after 30, let's just say that. So,
Thank you. I think you said the key phrase there, succession plan.
yes.
Mr. Attorney, please publish.
An ordinance to amend the general fund budget by adding a billing fiscal assistant position for the fiscal year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Cooper. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is consideration of a budget adjustment ordinance for the general fund and general projects funds for fiscal year '22. This does two primary things. One is it switches bond money out for cash funds to allow us to purchase a new RFID system for the library. These are little tags that are in the book, so when you check them out, we have a record of that. The second thing that this is asking you to do is to amend the amount of dollars we have allocated for Pet Works by increasing that by an additional $70,000. This will go towards the operational budget for Pet Works. And so we'd ask that you approve this ordinance, and I'd be happy to answer any questions the board might have.
I saw an annual report from Pet Works, just, I guess, yesterday, of what the number of animals they took in and so forth, so on in 2021. And I hope all the board members get that. Any of y'all seen it? Pet Works annual report? Okay. John Morris would be the man, I guess.
We can get everybody a copy of that.
Yeah. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
To amend the general fund and the general project fund budgets for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Phillips. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
Next item is on second reading. That's consideration of a budget adjustment ordinance for the general project fund in fiscal year '22. So we'd ask that you approve this on second and final reading, please.
Thank you. And for our public, a second reading of an ordinance requires a roll call vote. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
Ordinance to amend the general project fund budget for the year ending June 30, 2022, and to fix the effective date of this ordinance.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Montgomery. Any discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the roll.
Alderman Cooper. Alderman Duncan.
Aye.
Vice Mayor George.
Aye.
Alderman Montgomery.
Aye.
Alderman Alterman. Alderman Phillips.
Aye.
Mayor Schul.
Aye, the item passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is consideration of a resolution awarding the bid for the purchase of various water and sewer maintenance items. As we have discussed before, this is something you'll see on an annual basis. This allows us to be able to move forward with a couple of different vendors on an as-needed basis throughout the year. So we have pricing on these items, and again, they'll be purchased as needed. So it comes to you simply because of the fact that it exceeds total cost of $50,000. So we'd ask that you approve this resolution, please.
Thank you. For some new citizens that might be out there, our water system and our wastewater system, sometimes referred to as sewer, are both what the state refers to as enterprise funds. In short, that means that they operate like a business, that we have to charge fees that will cover our expenses. That's the way it works in the state of Tennessee. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution awarding the bid for the purchase of various water and sewer maintenance items to Ferguson Enterprise, Consolidated Pipe and Supply, Inc., Core and Main, Inc., and G&C Supply, Inc., and authorizing the city manager to execute purchase orders for the same.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Phillips. Is there any discussion? The only thing I would say is it concerns me as mayor that we're in a period of inflation, and it just like it may cause you folks out there problems at the gas pump or in the grocery store, it causes problems for the city government who has to purchase a lot of materials to do its mission. So city manager and staff are keeping a close eye on it and adjusting as they can. Mr. Attorney, could you please publish?
I did.
Okay, may I say again?
Ready for a vote.
Okay, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Thank you, Mr. City Manager.
Next item is consideration of a resolution awarding the bid to Pavewell Paving for 2022 contracted paving Area 9 and authorizing the mayor to sign all applicable documents. This fall, we came to you all as we looked at making several budget adjustments, and one of the things we asked for was an additional $500,000 to go towards paving, primarily to allow us to finish up some paving in the Lynn Garden community. And so this proposal and this bid before you allows us to be able to do that. And so we, after pending approval, the goal would be to have this completed probably by the end of May, 1st of June.
Chris, can you show the map up there of that area of our city? That's eastern Lynn Garden.
Yeah, so the Lynn Garden Drive is the dark line in the center,
Yeah.
and then this is the area over in here.
So that's north of the old Lynn View High School.
Correct.
Okay, good. Is there a motion to approve? I'm sorry, read it, publish it, Mr. Attorney.
A resolution awarding the bid for the contracted paving Area 9 project to Pavewell Paving Company and authorizing the mayor to sign an agreement for the same and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the agreement.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve now?
So move.
Moved by Alderman Montgomery. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion?
I have one question. I meant to ask this last night. Does this mean that every street in the Lynn Garden area that was below the 70 mark has now been paved?
Our deputy city
I'll let Ryan
manager is
answer
coming
that.
forward.
You know, we've done a lot last year up there too.
Right, that's what I was thinking. We've been up
That's a
there a
good
lot,
question.
and I thought that this finished it up.
First,
So after this summer, everything in the Lynn Garden area will have been paved. There are a few streets that we just paved just a few years back that we won't pave. But, so every street will be in very good condition, all of Lynn Garden. This finishes up what we call the eastern side of Lynn Garden.
So does that mean every street there has been paved, or just everyone that was below 70?
Every street.
So every street in the Lynn
Yeah,
Garden
that's
area
what
has
the
now been paved?
neighborhood approach is.
Okay.
Unless the street has been recently paved, we will repave everything within the neighborhood, so it's very consistent. And over time, when we get into that cycle in 15, 20 years, you know, it all will need to be addressed at a different, all together again.
That's good just to know, because people often ask, and you can just tell them, well, everything in Lynn
Well, I
Garden.
think you hit it the first time where you said that this means all of them will have that PCI, pavement condition indicator, above 70.
That's right.
By the time
Everything,
this-
these streets that we're repaving, I mean, they're going to go to the very highest of the PCI this summer because they're brand-new asphalt.
Yeah.
So this is all of eastern Lynn Garden.
Yeah. And there was an article in Times News today about your briefing to us yesterday.
Yes.
So I would refer citizens to that article also. Okay, let's see, where are we in the proceedings, Mr. City Manager?
I have no idea, Mayor.
We published it first and
Take a
second, ready for a vote.
We're ready
That
for a
was our
vote?
That was our discussion.
Okay, that was the discussion.
Yes, so we're ready.
Yeah, the discussions get interesting, you know? All right, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
All right, next item is consideration of a resolution awarding the bid for mowing at various locations. Again, an item that we will bring before you all typically this time every year. We have picked up a few alternates within this. Most noticeably is the work that we will begin doing at Stone Drive and I-26, that interchange. As I mentioned last night, we're already doing some we're doing some tree trimming up there. The state has done some. We'll be able to mow this on a regular basis, similar to what we do at Meadowview, Rock Springs. I say Meadowview, I guess I'm really referring to John B. and I-26. So pleased to be able to do this and bring this for you.
Okay, and for our citizens, there's a lot of areas that we mow that are in the public right-of-way around, you know, bridges and near the highways and so forth. So it's, we try to keep it looking pretty good. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution awarding the bid for mowing and trimming services at various locations to Phillips Landscaping and Klein Lawn Care, and authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order for the same.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Alderman Duncan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is consideration of a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order to Municipal Emergency Services for 60 self-contained breathing apparatus and necessary accessories utilizing the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement. Again, another item that we discussed in the fall, you all were gracious enough to provide funding for this. Mayor, you've talked about inflation. This is definitely an area where we've seen that increase.
Yeah.
We had initially hoped to buy more than the units we've had, the 60 that we have here, but we've reduced that to fit within the budget. Again, much needed for the department, as it states there, helps them not only with safety, make sure they have the right gear, but also helps them stay in compliance. So,
Now Chief Boyd's going to do a demonstration of the gear.
well, I don't think he prepared for that, but I mean, we could recess until he's ready.
Okay, another time. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
Resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order to Municipal Emergency Services utilizing Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Agreement number 032620 for 60 self-contained breathing apparatus and necessary accessories for the Kingsport Fire Department.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the Vice Mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Phillips. Is there any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It passes 7-0. I want you to know, I had a nap this afternoon. I feel great.
You're good. I didn't.
Please proceed.
The next item is consideration of a resolution approving an amendment to the Section 5307 capital grant contract for the construction of the transit garage and maintenance facility. As I mentioned earlier, we will be making an amendment. There's a need to make an amendment to the grant in order for us to access some additional federal dollars to go towards the total construction contract. We will be adding additional $80,000 with the hope of them being able to receive a total of $800,000. It'll take a few months for this to be able to go through the process, but this is probably a chart that you all have seen many a times over the years as we come and ask for amendments to this, or we've made adjustments to it. So We hope this is the last one and allow us to move forward with it.
Chris, when this maintenance facility is established, will you be able to do all the type of maintenance that would ordinarily been done down at the city garage?
No.
No?
The maintenance on this type of facility is kind of the daily maintenance for cleaning, that type of bus wash kind of facility. So oil changes and, those kinds of maintenance things with tire changes.
Yeah.
Those items will still occur at the industry.
At the
legal
garage. Okay.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Mr.
absolutely.
Attorney, please publish.
TA Grant 031 with the Federal Transit Administration for Section 5307 Capital Grant Funds from the United States Department of Transportation for the construction of a transit garage and maintenance facility, and authorizing the mayor to execute the amendment and all other documents necessary and proper to effectuate the purpose of the amendment.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by the vice mayor. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Duncan. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Passes 7-0. Next item.
Next item is consideration of a resolution authorizing the purchase of advanced fire training props from Fire Blast Global for the new fire training facility at 250 Horse Creek Lane. As you all know, we will very soon be opening up our new fire training facility that we have here in the city of Kingsport. It's a long time in the making. Very, very happy to be able to do this with all the benefits that we're going to have from a training standpoint. It's necessary to outfit it with the various props that would simulate what they might see in the field. At your last meeting, you approved the purchase of a propane tank for that to be able to create the fire. So one of the many things that kind of goes into creating that training and everything necessary for this facility to be successful. So I ask that you approve the resolution authorizing this purchase, please.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Attorney, please publish.
A resolution authorizing the city manager to execute a purchase order to Fire Blast Global for the purchase of advanced fire training props through a U.S. General Services Administration contract.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve? Moved by Alderman. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Montgomery. Any discussion?
Before this, where did they go for training? I mean, where did you, yeah. You still,
This facility will provide us everything that is needed basically from east of Bell Buckle, middle of Tennessee. That's the only place that's even close
This
that have
okay.
these type of props. It would be at the State Fire School, just around Murfreesboro in a sense, that area. So these particular props in a sense are a dumpster, a pan fire, as well as a car fire. And it will have the ability with the propane where it'll have the safety measures that we can turn that off immediately in lieu of just going out and setting a car on fire. You have those in place. So, well, this is state of the art, to say the least.
Do you anticipate other fire departments, be they volunteer or city, to ask to use your facility?
Absolutely, yes, sir. Right now, have just started our recruit school, which is, actually, we've got 27 in that right now, and they come from Cott County all the way up to the state line. So we've reached out that far.
And I think once we have this, as you said, it's the most advanced next to Middle Tennessee, but
Yeah.
prior to that, you all would be scattered all over the place with whatever they had to be able to utilize.
We truly did. To simulate a car fire, we would end up having to go to Middle Tennessee or set a car on fire. And there were definitely some safety hazards involved in that. We didn't do that in Kingsport. It was done in another city.
And didn't Alderman Phillips say he had a car to donate?
I think we'll be more than happy to take a car to be able to use for extrication, to cut it up.
Okay.
Dennis Phillips's car, I'll give you the address later.
Absolutely. That thing would burn for days.
Yes, with all the gas in the back of it.
Like,
Any other questions for our distinguished fire chief? Any other, thank you, chief. Any other discussion? If not, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? It passes 7-0. Mr. City Manager.
All right, we now move into the consent agenda. I will read all 7 items off if you would like any of those pulled for additional discussion, please let me know. First item is consideration of a resolution authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding between the U.S. Department of Army, BAE Systems, Ordnance Systems Incorporated, and the City of Kingsport. Second item is consideration of a resolution amending the Kingsport Alliance for Housing Revitalization Program policy and procedures. Third item is consideration of a resolution authorizing the city manager to execute purchase orders to Consolidated Pipe and Supply Company for master meter water meters. Fourth item is consideration of a resolution approving an administrative services agreement with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Tennessee. Fifth item is consideration of a resolution confirming the renewal of medical services agreement with Care Here as the provider of health, wellness, and occupational medicine clinic services for the City of Kingsport. Sixth item is consideration of a resolution to renew and amend current agreement with Blue Ridge Medical Management Corporation for counseling services for Kingsport City employees and authorizing the mayor to sign all applicable documents. And the seventh item is consideration of a resolution approving an interlocal agreement for HyperReach mass notification system. Again, if there's any questions or any item that you'd like pulled, if not, I'd ask that you consider all 7 items for approval.
And Mr. City Manager, if you could just quickly explain for the public the difference in consent items versus the ones on the earlier part of the agenda.
Consent items are typically items that are routine in nature or are policy or procedure changes that are not necessarily required by an ordinance change. And typically, you see on here, one item is, it looks like it's actually a purchase, but we're just simply changing the name of who we've already agreed to purchase the type of product from. So there, while no item on here is ever to be considered one that's not as worthy as the other, these are typically items that are.
They don't involve spending large sums of
Don't
money.
necessarily involve spending money. They're often just simply policy agreements or agreements that are non-monetary.
Okay. Are there any of my colleagues that would like to have an item or more than one item considered separately? If not, is there a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as presented with all 7 items.
Thank you. Is there a second to the Vice Mayor's motion?
A second.
Seconded by Alderman. Is there any discussion? If not, Madam Recorder, please take the vote.
Alderman Cooper,
Aye to all 7.
Alderman Duncan,
Aye to all.
Vice Mayor George,
Aye to all.
Alderman Montgomery,
Aye to all.
Alderman Alterman,
Aye to all.
Alderman Phillips,
Aye to all.
Mayor Schul.
Aye to all items, therefore all 7 items pass unanimously. Mr. City Manager.
All right, that completes the agenda. We'll move into the communications portion of the agenda, and typically, it's usually about a 99.9% chance that anything I will say, I'll be stepping probably on somebody's toes because you'll have that on your list. I don't think you'll have this item on there, so it's probably safe to say, but really, over the last probably 6 to 7 months, I've taken a couple of days out of each month and set up times to go visit with departments outside of City Hall. Having been here for 25 years, you get to form relations with groups, people, you understand what they do. And so when you move into the city manager's role, it's not always easy to go and have those conversations. And so today on my calendar, I spent about 2.5 hours with our traffic engineering department, and they're located off of Conner Rock there, behind where the old Pet Dairy building used to be. But it was interesting to go back there. That's actually kind of where I started. I started in transportation planning, and so I had an opportunity to go back. Probably a handful of the people that were working there when I started in October of '97 were still there. A lot of the same things with signal replacement, striping of roads, signage, various things like that still take place. We count cars a little different with the technology that we have now. But it was interesting to just meet with those individuals. They take a tremendous amount of pride in the work that they do. They think about safety, as we all do, but they think about it a little bit more because of what the job they have involves the public. And so I see Chris Campbell out there. Chris started with us as an intern, and I know Chris has helped put out many road tube counters. And but it was a good opportunity to be able to meet with that group. And a couple of weeks ago, I was down at Streets and Sanitation and talking with them about what they do. And I say that only for one simple reason. It's just, we talk about it often, about having a great workforce. We do. We have a lot of individuals that have dedicated 30-plus years of their career. In fact, one of the individuals that we know as Doc, but Tony Dingus, who is in our traffic engineering department and will be retiring, 30-plus year career with us, outstanding individual. These folks dedicate a lot of their passion, their time towards the city of Kingsport, and so just wanted to relay that.
I say keep doing that, all the employees ought to be able to recognize the city manager on site. Okay. Mr. Darrell.
Yeah, I just got a few items. Just Dream is currently playing at Lamplight Theater, and this play is inspired by Martin Luther King. And it's his speech, I Have a Dream. And so I urge everybody to come see that. It goes through the 27th. Appreciate Ryan's update yesterday on paving and recycling. I think it's two big hitters for our citizens, and the timing was really good for that. Over the weekend, actually, I had somebody who was talking about recycling. So I really appreciated Ryan going into that. And then finally, this weekend kicks off Keep Kingsport Beautiful, first clean of the year. And this one's a big one. It's at Reedy Creek and Miller Branch. And it starts at between 10 and 12 and meet behind Harbor Freight.
Harbor Freight off Stone Drive.
Stone Drive. And so bring some old clothes because it'll be muddy and waders and stuff like that. So I won't be able to participate just because of a family reason, but there'll be people there. And so it kicks it off, and that area needs some attention too. So.
Well, I appreciate you've been to a lot of them, and appreciate you doing that, and the other volunteers. Anything else?
That's it. Thank you.
Ms. Betsy?
No, I'm good tonight.
You're good tonight, okay. Paul?
I want to mention that on March the 5th at the Renaissance Center, there's a Black History event by Hope, and I believe a couple of you are involved in that event as well. So I invite all of you to come out on March the 5th at the Renaissance Center at 7 o'clock. Thank you.
Okay. And they always have a good show. That it?
Yeah.
James?
Just a couple quick things. A reminder that the governor will be here on February 28th for the TCAT construction program ribbon cutting at the new TCAT facility at the old North Campus.
Tennessee College of Applied Technology.
Correct.
There you go.
And so I just again reiterate, that's a great honor for us. Home show. For the home builders are putting on the home show at Meadowview March 4th, 5th, and 6th. And so try to come out to the home show. They've got a lot of booths this year. And I know that a lot of the builders are very busy, but they're still taking time out to either work or participate in the home show. And then lastly, just a couple of us went and toured Sevier today, and I thought that was really neat, to see a class. The thing that blew me away was there was a class of sixth graders taking coding, which is like, designing websites and stuff. And I just, they were good at it and they were engaged in it, and it was an elective that they chose to take. And so I think that just shows the progress that, our education system, especially in this city, is taking, and I know we're doing it even more so. But, the way to get the kids engaged is by offering something that interests them. And, and I think that coding class to me was really an eye-opener because everyone were, involved in it, and there were no glazed over eyes and people trying to sleep or anything. It was really neat. So enjoyed that today.
And Miss Betsy was there too. Betsy, I was impressed with the enthusiasm and classroom presence of the teachers.
Yes. I had to.
Okay.
It
Tommy?
was interesting.
Yeah, it was a good show. Yeah, Tom?
Well, I'd like to piggyback on what James has said about being enthused. The basketball team is
In the playoffs.
in the playoffs, and they ought to do good this year. They've got a real team, so I'm hoping that they get a lot of support.
It's Thursday night they play.
It's Thursday night,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah. The girls don't play Thursday night, I don't think. Boys play Thursday.
I think the girls play tomorrow.
Tomorrow night, girls tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about Dobbins Bennett, so. Anything else?
I believe that's got it covered.
Okay. Vice Mayor?
I think most things have been covered. I want to mention that we do have our retreat on February 25th. For
Right.
any citizens interested in attending that. We will be talking about a lot of great things, including our ARPA money. And also, I think the Chamber is going to be having an actual in-person Fourth Friday breakfast this month, sponsored by ETSU.
A week from Friday, the 25th.
The 25th.
Same day we're having our strategic
Yeah,
plan.
so there's
planning.
actually one in person, and so hopefully they'll have good attendance on that. That's
Is that
all.
it?
That's it.
That's the one you're supposed to bring your money.
Bring your money to that one, because the severe kids are gonna be,
I could,
there are programs where they're selling stuff, and they ran out of money last time. They emptied the ATM machine at Meadowview, they said, and there's no ATM machine there now, so they said, bring your money. Rolls of 20s.
James last night told me we're touring Severe to bring a bunch of money, and I thought, I couldn't figure out why.
I got my dates
You got
mixed
his
up.
Fridays mixed up.
Just in case.
Yeah.
James, you mentioned the home show, and it always is a very good show. And for our new citizens out there, contractors that do things in a home of every type of task you might imagine are there, and they show off some really great work. So it's a good place for a homeowner to get an idea of maybe some improvements they want to make or repairs or whatever. And it's really informative.
Yeah, especially right now, because there's so many contractors that are booked up for the year already. So it's a good place to go and find somebody to get on the schedule and probably get some work done. Whereas, otherwise you may be waiting a while.
Yeah. Well, I gave blood today, so I was happy to do that. There was a period of time which they wouldn't let me do it because I was in Germany in the 1980s when they had this mad cow disease outbreak in Europe. So they said, oh, you can't give blood anymore. So, but they lifted that ban, so I was able to give it. But I really did need that nap. I got to tell you, after that 2 gallons of blood, no, I think it's just a pint they take. We are having a strategic planning session to look ahead. We've done this now for the last few years, and it's a good time for us to focus. And again, all our meetings are open to the public. And having said that, this is the point in our proceedings where citizens may come forward to the podium and speak on issue-oriented items. When you come to the podium, please state your name and address and sign the register that is provided. The reason we have people sign their address and name is sometimes people come and they'll bring something to our attention that nobody had ever considered or aware of, and that's great. And therefore, we want the staff to be able to get a hold of these folks for a follow-up type session. So you're encouraged to keep your comments non-personal in nature, and they should be limited to 5 minutes. Are there any citizens that wish to come forward and speak to the board? Well, if not, have a good evening. We're adjourned.
Thank you for joining us tonight for the Kingsport BMA meeting. This program has been a production of the City of Kingsport in cooperation with Milligan Productions, Milligan University, and Charter Communications. For more information, visit kingsporttn.gov.